It's that time of the week again. It's the time of the week where I sit down in front of a computer and I talk about the things that are on my heart, the things that I need to express so that I can continue to be a human being, so that the machine underneath me doesn't have to surface and I can continue to live the way I was supposed to.
Hold on. I have breaking news.
Breaking news before the introductions.
Yeah. It doesn't matter who we are. There's a small possibility the Trackmania server may be online.
Hold on.
I am checking this right now.
Do you have it downloaded? Like, is it?
Yes. Yeah, hold on. All right, keep talking.
This is big. This is big.
This is potentially the most important news of 2016.
To date.
All right, sorry. I can't see you anymore, but it's worth it.
Yeah, well, it's okay because we get a nice little a blue light on your face. You're in a dark room.
It's not that dark. I can turn the light on if you need.
When your monitor goes dark,
hold
we can look at your face. What makes you say this? Is it so? Google it. Giant Bomb. Trackmania 2.
Oh no! Is it online?
Find it. Can you join?
I'm joining. Hold on.
Oh no! Oh no!
There's like nobody on it. Oh, I'm in! I'm so in! Oh my goodness!
I know what I'm doing after the show tonight.
Oh yes. I could not be happier than right now. Oh.
Molly, I know that you've just been born into Michael's life, but you've been replaced with Trackmania 2.
Okay, I'm leaving the match right now, but all right, sweet. So yeah, that made me really happy.
It's like, all right, so like before the show goes, it's like, all right, are you ready? And then you're just staring at a monitor. I'm like, okay. And so then I just go. You talk about last week being the worst podcast. This was quite the intro.
You didn't give me any chance to talk. Plus, I was reading about Checkmania, so it didn't matter. Hold on, I'm gonna go turn my light on. Evidently, it's dark.
Oh, this is hashtag follow the conversation, brought to you by the culturemypeople.com. This is the show where we talk about whatever we want to. That could be games. That could be Trackmania 2.
Trackmania 2 Stadium. That's what we want to talk about.
So that's what we're going to talk about. I am your host, Drew B, and I'm joined with my co-host, Michael. Michael, how you
what's
feeling?
up? I'm feeling good. A little worn out. Good.
Good. That's good.
I'm so happy about that.
That's fun because that would, if I had known that did it just go up like minutes ago or like?
No. I'm reading and like it looks like it may have been up for. Oh look, December 18th it went back up.
It's been up from wait, just December 18th or January 18th?
December 18th. All right, baby on the beat.
For a month.
There's baby on the beat.
Baby on the beat.
Hold her up to the mic. Say baby.
She looks thrilled to be here.
Yeah, it's been up, and evidently I didn't. Oh, I'm so happy. Not right now. I'll eat some more after. Thank you. This is a professional podcast. So yeah, all that time we were mourning about Trackmania during our year-end extravaganza, it was totally up, and we haven't been playing it.
Obviously, Trackmania 2 is really important to Michael, and it's a fun game. I definitely admit that. If you want to know more about it, check out our podcast that we did discussing the year extravaganza at the end of the year for 2015. We talk about Trackmania, Michael. One of your highlights of 2015 is that game.
One of the highlights of my life is Trackmania 2 Stadium.
Specifically
the Giant Bomb unofficial classic server, which, by the way, it has 0 people on it, and I think that's the reason he shuts it down. So we need to like get in there and play it, or he's going to shut it down again.
You should tweet to Jeff Gertzman and let him know that the server's back up.
Evidently, people have been talking about it on, like, he's tweeted at Jeff, like, people know. Everyone knows. We're actually just hitting a dead spot. Like, I think people have been playing it and it's kind of dying down again. We need to start another resurgence.
All right, let's go. The fans of this podcast, of this website, let's all download Trackmania 2 Stadium together. The demo, it's free.
So here's what it is. Download the demo for Trackmania, join the Giant Bomb unofficial classic server. If you don't know what it is the Super Meat Boy of racing games mixed with dubstep. The best dubstep. But also some of the worst dubstep.
We played this last summer, and you know we've talked about it. Let's yeah. That's the one. That's what's the name of that Star Wars song? It's like Star Wars Metallica. Is that what it was called?
Okay, so I've never played the Star Wars Metallica track. That's part of my failing of Trackmania 2. Like one of the servers main draws is there's a Star Wars Metallica track with like crazy music, and I've never actually got to play it yet. You're looking up.
Nice. I was just gonna see if I can find some of that music. But I know you've already got a bunch of it. I wonder if there's a Spotify playlist for a bunch of that stuff. Probably not.
I don't think so, because most of it's like personally made, like crazy remixes on like Bandcamp pages.
Yeah. Cool. All right. I know what we're doing. We're gonna bring this back. Trackmania 2. Yeah. So it is cold here. Here at the location of the coldsmorepeople.com. It has been freezing. Michael, you've been working out in this cold weather.
I don't want to talk about working out because we're going to come back to this podcast in the future years and be like, man, we were really fitness geeks back then. And be like, no, we weren't. We were never fitness geeks.
But there's our disclaimer right there. You just put it down. It's there for everyone to listen to.
I've been working out. It's been really cold. Like we are experiencing some global warming hard here. It is like negative. It was -6, I think, when you drove into work today.
I at one point my thermometer hit -6, and then it started climbing up again, climbing up to -4. But
it's a real scorcher here.
It's really cold here. I am in my apartment. I put on a little sweatshirt. My feet are cold. I need like thermal socks or something. Like it's really cold.
I'm wearing shorts and I'm barefooted.
Yeah, but you and I are different people.
It's true. This is also what happens when you work out. Your body gets hot. In more ways than one, if you know what I mean.
Oh, snap.
Ew.
So I think we should cut to it. If you watched last week's podcast, you watched me. You witnessed the story of Drewby eating an MRE, a military ration thing.
I always thought it was a meal ready to eat.
That's probably exactly what it is. We have Michael. No one has given you anything. That the bet is still out. Not the bet. The deal. The thing, if you will, of Michael eating food, weird, strange, maybe another MRE, is still out there. So anyone who's listening, watching, if you want to watch Michael eat weird food, get it to him.
I completely forgot about that. But I did eat a burrito before the show, and I will probably eat a burrito after the show. Not weird. My wife makes good burritos, not bad burritos.
I have had a bowl of cereal before the show. Oh, and some cheese sticks and an ice cream sandwich. So
that is some solid food there. What kind of cereal?
It was cold outside. So I finished off my Reese's Puffs. Those are gone now. And right now in front of me, I have a bowl, starting to get soggy bowl of whatever these things are called.
Shredded wheat.
Yeah, shredded wheat, frosted shredded wheat. Frosted mini spooners. I can read the bag from on top of my fridge.
I feel uncomfortable with that cereal, so we can move on.
Okay, moving on.
I have
Michael.
a, a jar of Skittles that I got last Christmas, and I still have them because I eat candy really slow.
I don't understand. If you put candy in front of me, it will be gone. I've eaten like bags of like Swedish Fish and Sour Patch Kids before, and they'll be gone maybe in a week.
When I was a kid, I used to eat candy like that, but then at some point I just had a plethora, and once I had a lot and I didn't think that it was a scarce thing, I just ate it when I felt like it like was no longer like, oh, I need to eat this whole bag because I never have candy. It's always like, oh, I always have candy, I'll just eat a little bit. And so like I think I ate 2 of these yesterday. I eat like a couple at a time. I'm like, okay, we're good. Candy is actually the one thing dietary wise that I really don't think I have a problem with. Like, I like candy, but
it's weird because like if you put like a bunch of Taco Bell or just your wife's cooking in front of you, you would probably eat most of it, if not all of it. But like you put a big thing of candy in front of you and you're totally fine.
There's no problems there. The exception to that rule is it does not matter if you open up a bag of the sacred candy. So I don't know if we've talked about this. There's a sacred candy that comes around in our world once a year. It is called nerd jelly beans. And these are the greatest candy known to mankind. They are also some of the rarest candy known to mankind because they always sell out and they only sell it once a year. I will eat a whole bag of those because I love them so much, and they are rare. They're the one thing I can't have all the time, so I eat them like crazy because they're so rare. I'll go to the store and I will buy all of it, and then I will go to the store and buy all of it and eat it all. I keep a secret stash of them saved for a rainy day. Someday, I will be extremely sad, and I will play Demon's Souls and eat my hidden stash of Chewy Nerds or Nerd Jelly Beans.
Demon's Souls, one of the hardest games of within the last 10 years. You're just gonna play that on a sad day. That doesn't sound.
It's a game I know that I will like. I know 100% that I will like it. I will probably like it a lot.
Do you?
I do.
Because it's not just. I mean, would you have said that about Bloodborne though? Because that's basically the same style of game, and you did not like that one.
I mean, it's fair. I just feel like aesthetically and theme wise, I would more like Demon's Souls. But we'll see. Yes. It's going back, so we'll see. I don't know. It has a lot more story stuff, so that's cool.
Yeah, of those kind of Souls games, the 3 that I have are Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and Demon's Souls. I have each one of those. Dark Souls 2, I do not own. Might pick that up at some point. Maybe I'll beat that before. Is it critical to the story if I play Dark Souls 2 before I play Dark Souls 3?
If you actually give a crap about the story, probably. It is. It's a really good game. Like, I think that Dark Souls gets the short end of the stick, but Dark Souls 2 gets the short end of the stick. Dark Souls 2 is a really good game.
Yeah. I don't play Dark Souls 1 because it's got a sweet, awesome story. I play Dark Souls 1 because it's a fun, awesome game.
But it actually does have a sweet, awesome story. Just no one knows it.
Yeah, no one knows it. Like, you had to listen to podcasts and stuff like that for them to explain what was actually going on in there.
There's a sweet YouTube dude named Vati Vidya, but if you Google, it's called Dark Souls Prepare to Cry. He does a series of videos, and he actually goes into the lore of a bunch of the main characters. Did you hear that?
What?
A piano? Oh, does Facebook make noises when you get notifications?
Yeah, it does.
I never get notifications until just now. I heard a piano noise in my ear, and it freaked me out.
Windows 10 will give you notifications. And it'll make noise for those. If you have your Facebook account and stuff like that, it'll notify you on stuff. I think the website does as well.
Right, that made me feel
at my work, our work, if you log in and if you clock in and clock out through the web application, we can either clock in and out with our phones or with the web application. It'll play like music for you. Like when you clock out, it's like hallelujah or like it'll just play different things when you do different stuff. Like when you clock in, I'm sure it's fun stuff.
Dun, 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 dun.
No, that's just the ringtone for when my mother calls.
Or Jaws, or the like Insidious like violin.
Dude, even you just doing that is a little bit it wakes me out. Like I'm psychologically impaired now.
Why is there a shadow in your window? What is that a lady? What is that back there?
Shut the heck up. Shut up.
Speaking of which, the third Insidious is now available for us to watch. We should watch that.
And you were actually told that it was good.
Yeah.
Are you interested at all in seeing it?
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, why not complete the trilogy?
But even what if it's just another second one? If you knew it was another number 2, would you still be interested in completing the trilogy?
If I knew it was a number 2, I mean, it may be a piece of number 2. I mean, like, it would still probably be worth watching because it would still be funny. But I really hope that it's not. I don't go to Insidious for comedy, generally speaking. I go to, I don't know, Arrow or Flash or something.
Yeah.
Is it
Jimmy
Flash
Fallon?
tonight? No, it's tomorrow night.
Yep. No, Supergirl starts again tonight.
I don't count that as a show.
Flash and Agent Carter are tomorrow night. Wednesday night is Arrow, and Thursday night is Legends of Tomorrow. We will be starting up on this on theculturalpeople.com, and the Cultural Screening podcast will come back later this week, and you'll get another episode as me and Mark continue to cover some of our favorite TV shows. The debate is still up of whether or not we're gonna continue. I think we may just drop Supergirl for cutting and just cut that off of our list. I've continued to watch it, and the only reason I continued to watch it is because Martian Manhunter made an appearance and is now a character in the show. So that's like, oh, I've gotta watch. I was gonna give it up, I think, or I probably wouldn't have, but because I just
wouldn't have because you think that girl is cute.
She is cute. No, Melissa Benoist is, you can't argue with that. I don't think you can.
Benoist? Anyway. What did you say her name was?
I think so.
Her name is Benoist? That sounds familiar to my head.
Benoist. Garbage. It's not that hard. I wish that. All right, come on, Google. I Google Supergirl. The first thing you should give me would be that.
I knew someone whose last name was Benoist. That's a good name. I knew someone whose last name was Bedoink.
For real? Like in real life?
Yeah, for reals. Like actual for reals.
That is unfortunate.
Or, you know what? Like, maybe you just embrace it at some point and you live your life around that name.
What is that the worst last name or even first name that you've ever come across in your travels?
People have like names like Butt or like, I don't know, worse. There's definitely worse names.
Yeah. Yes. Michael, have you been playing any video games at all this week? I know that you're kind of a father now, but have you been doing anything?
Does Clash of Clans count as a video game?
I will allow it.
I've been playing Clash of Clans, but I don't want to talk about Clash of Clans in this podcast because screw that noise. But I played a little bit of a game called Lara Croft Go. We talked about it.
Oh, yeah. I talked about that last year.
Yeah, and we talked about it last week.
Oh, no.
No, we didn't actually talk about it last week. We talked. What happened? What are you talking about?
I don't know. The YouTube feed is freaking out whenever it wants your camera is just like going black and then in and out. Like either USB camera or your internet is freaking out.
Can you hear me fine?
I can hear you fine, but like your camera, it's either the feed or your camera. Like something you keep going out.
Well, anyway, yeah, I don't think we actually talked about it last week. So I've been playing a game called Lara Croft Go. It's like a board game / strategy game. You're Lara Croft. You do stuff. You move one move. The enemies move one move, and it's kind of a little puzzle thing. I have been trying to collect all the collectibles before I move on to the next zone. So I think I just finished all the collectibles from the second zone. I'm moving on to the third zone. I don't think there's like very many zones at all. So I Facebook just made another noise, and it makes me feel uncomfortable.
That was me. I pulled up the YouTube video to. I wanted to double check, make sure your camera stuff was going to work. But keep talking.
Okay. Got distracted. Oh, I also picked up a game called Room. The Room. Does that sound like a game?
Yeah. Is it like a puzzle game where you have to solve a box?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I have both of those games.
There's 3 of them.
I have 2. I have 1 and 2.
I know because I watched the quick look for the Room 3, and that's what made me decide to get the Room 1. So, did you beat it?
No, I didn't. It's on my tablet, which doesn't have power right now. But are you playing it on your phone? I'm assuming. How does it work on that?
It's fine. Like it works fine.
Would it be better on a tablet?
I mean,
that screen says because you're using your fingers to manipulate the box in the center of the screen, and like in kind of specific ways.
It has not hindered me at all yet, and I don't know if it will. It doesn't feel like it will. So, I mean, you can zoom in and out to get more precision or whatever. Anyway, I've been playing that a little bit. Yeah, it's a puzzle game. Yeah. You're in a room. There's a box, and it's a puzzle box. And you spin it around, and you can maneuver different things different ways. And it's just a really weird puzzle game. And the box opens up, and there's another layer. I made it to the second layer. Other than that, I thought about playing a Pillars of Eternity. I thought about playing Hack and Slash. I thought about playing Bloodborne briefly. And then I decided to watch all of Daredevil instead.
Yep. All right. This is the first time that you've finished. You watched a couple of the episodes, but now you have seen everything. You've gone from beginning to end at this point.
I watched episodes 6 through all of the rest Saturday.
Okay. And what are your thoughts on that show now that you've seen all of it?
So I thought it was pretty good. Definitely has the try to be Batman vibe that Arrow has, but of course it has a writer and it has actors and it has a budget, so it's better than Arrow, it's better than Flash. I thought it was pretty good. I thought that once it got going, it was really good. But I thought maybe I don't know if that's necessarily the problem with the show or just the problem with having to establish everything. Because establishing stuff, I think, as a personal preference, I'm not trying to enforce this on all shows because I don't think it would work on all shows. But I think that the establishing phase of a TV show, especially when it's front loaded, just doesn't entice me a ton. I prefer when shows don't establish a lot and you have no idea what's going on, and then you get slow establishing throughout. And usually by the time that you know everything, that's when the show's over or whatever. So the fact that you were getting front loaded stuff, I do appreciate that they didn't front load every single thing about every character. But by episode 5 or 6, the pace got going, the story got going, and stuff started happening. I thought it was really good. I mean, I chain watched it in one day, so obviously it kept me going. I'm not a huge TV guy generally. Now that I have a child, I'm more likely to watch TV than play a game. But also, that can't continue forever because I don't want Molly in the same room with me watching Daredevil when she's old enough to care about watching TV and know what people say. So we'll see.
And stuff like that is kind of when mobile gaming comes in super handy. You have a 3DS, you have a Vita. Some of that stuff is a little bit more maybe easier. It's easier to consume games in that format.
I'm looking forward to the Fire Emblems that are coming out because that seems like a good deal.
Yeah. You were talking a little bit about that, and there's 2 Fire Emblems coming out I think this year, and you're kind of excited for both of those. I am actually picking up and continuing Fire Emblem Awakening, which is a game on 3DS, and I've played a couple missions in that, not necessarily story missions. I did some side stuff. My first main battle in that game, I lost 2 healers, and those characters will permadeath in that game. So it's bad juju when you
Kind of.
lose some characters.
They're not permadead in the story, but you can't ever use them again in battle.
Exactly. I noticed that. So I was like, so one of the characters I lost is kind of one of the main characters. She's a healer, and I was like, oh, I'm just going to continue on, and then I was like, well, how, we're never going to see this again. I was looking maybe for character reactions to her death. And she was in the story, and she continued, but I cannot use her in a battle anymore. So, like you just said, so
that game is probably way deeper than you anticipate, because I beat the game and didn't even know about some of the stuff. Like, evidently, you can build up relations. So the game tells you can build up relationships between people, and you can. So when you build up the relationships, if they're friends, they'll rank up in their friendship, and then if you fight them next to each other, they'll get stat effects, and you can stack them on top of each other, and they'll get stat effects and stuff. Also, if you get them to S rank, characters can get married, and if characters get married, they can have children that share their stats and specials. So evidently, like, the way to get awesome stuff in that game is to breed a bunch of awesome humans, but I don't understand that process. I mean, I understand the process. I just don't understand what combos make good things. And evidently, there's different stories for you get more story as people's relationships grow. So I beat the game and didn't know any of this. So
I knew that there were relationship aspects to it. I didn't know it went that deep.
The relationship stuff is showed to you in tutorials.
Yeah, so I have, and when I've kind of picked it up before, when I was playing this probably a year ago or more, I wasn't really paying much attention to kind of all that relationship stuff. I might go in there and do a couple of things, but I wasn't really giving too much about it. And even the inventory, I don't like I kind of don't like the way that inventory is works. I wish it was a little bit more simplified as far as knowing where stuff is when I need it. So going forward now and pushing it on in this game, I'll probably spend more time on some of the side stuff and in developing maybe those relationships, or maybe more item and inventory management and stuff like that, trying to get a little bit farther in and then simply just tactical strategy fighting.
So I don't mind the item management stuff. Part of it's probably hard because you broke it up into 2 sessions and you don't remember. I didn't have a problem remembering what stuff was. My main problem with the game, if I had to pick one, and it's just a staple of Fire Emblem, is all of the weapons have limited use, and that kind of got annoying to me, except for story relevant weapons. So you could break your weapon after you used it so many times, and then it would go away, and you're spending money and resources to upgrade these things. And then your character that was so suddenly awesome, his weapon breaks and he has a crappy weapon as a secondary backup, and then he's not very good anymore. That was a weird aspect to me that I'd never seen in the tactical games that I played.
Well, it's not necessarily that I don't know where those items are and where to find them. It's when I'm trying to okay, I want to move this to my storage, my chest, and just put a bunch of items there. So it wasn't on a character specifically, it was just in a more general area. And it was just some of the terminology that is used was just a little bit is kind of confusing. And that's something that I can, once I figure out, it's okay, and moving forward. But it's just one of those maybe initial hurdles. The as far as the weapons are concerned in Fire Emblem Awakening and them breaking, is there a way to repair them and get more uses out of them? So if I've got a sword that has 40 uses and I've got 5 left, is there a way for me to keep this awesome weapon without it breaking? I
don't think so, but I don't remember.
Okay.
You might be able to fuse them together, but I don't think so. I think you just buy another one and then have to upgrade it as well.
That is kind of sucky. That's not cool. Okay.
That's the thing that slows you down from grinding too much, because one of my favorite tactical strategy games ever was a game called Shining Force that originally came out on the Genesis, and if you had the time and the wherewithal, you could grind levels over and over and over and over and beef up your dudes, which was awesome because you got to see parts of the tech tree you wouldn't see if you played normally, but also there was nothing stopping you from doing that, no in-game consequences.
You owned that game on the Game Boy Advance, and I borrowed it at one point, and that game was cool. I really liked that game.
Shining Force: The Legacy of Great Intention is the original subtitle. They remade it for the Game Boy Advanced and they called it Shining Force: Resurrection of the Dark Dragon, which I'm not going to like complain about a title that's called a Resurrection of the Dark Dragon. Like it's a pretty rad title, whatever. But more specifically, I have a problem with changing the subtitle that was called The Legacy of Great Intention, because that is a title that doesn't mean anything but is awesome sounding. The Legacy of Great Intention. It makes it makes the game so rad. That game was a game that like it was a hidden gem. I didn't know what I was getting when I started playing it. I have beaten that game. If we're not including Mario and like games like Mario, so like platformers or whatever that are easy to speedrun and stuff, I have beaten that game more times than I've beaten anything else. Shining Force is so good, and the Game Boy Advance version added like collectibles, and the Shining Force, the Resurrection of the Dark Dragon, added collectibles, and the collectibles were cards, and the cards could be used as weapons for a specific character that was added to the Game Boy version, and he could use the cards as weapons, and each of the cards were like, and their effects relate, like they were cards of the characters and the enemies that you could get, and they all had bonuses based on that character's abilities. And so like after you, oh man, there's so many crazy things that you can do in the Game Boy Advance version of that game that was not in the original. They changed the art style, which I didn't necessarily love, but oh man, that's a good game. I could talk about Shining Force. I went back and bought the Genesis version as well.
Nice. I own Shining Force on the computer, and I'm trying to find out what they just call it Shining Force. There's no there's no subtitle to it. It's just Shining Force.
Right, launch it right now. Let it go to the title screen. Yeah, let it go to the title screen. Will it play the music when you watch it?
It should.
All right, let's see.
It doesn't. The Sega logo.
Oh, there we go.
All right, and it just. All right, I'm gonna skip forward to the title. If I can.
It's Z. It's Z, probably.
There you go. Shining Force: The Legacy of Great Intention.
Oh yeah, that subtitle, man. Oh, dude, I know so much of the music from that game. Oh, dude, I could talk about that game for so long. The amount that I like that game is third.
Is that what are your? Is like, where does that rank as far as like some of your like favorite games on your favorite games list? Like,
I mean, it's way up there.
Early on, it was early on for you.
It's one of the first tactical strategy games, and I still think it's really. I still think it totally. I think the tactical strategy part totally holds up. There are parts about that game that don't hold up to modern conventions, but I don't think they're not worth playing the game for. Like, the thing about Fire Emblem, because Fire Emblem definitely was inspired by games like Shining Force. Like, it is very, very obvious, and they advanced the formulas and everything. I'm not gonna discount. I'm not gonna call it a clone or anything. Like, but the thing that Fire Emblem, especially original Fire Emblem did was all the story stuff was just like a visual novel, and there was no overworld map. You just did visual novel battle, visual novel battle, visual novel battle, and there was nothing in between. In Shining Force, it's almost like an adventure game in between battles. So you actually go around a town. It's a JRPG. You actually go around a town, and you have to talk to people, and you have to you have to do regular style quests. And then when you come into a battle, it naturally flows into a battle. So like if you get thrown in jail, you try to break out. When you break out, the battle starts because the guards are prepared, and that's the tactical battle. And so some of the adventure game parts seem a little obscure probably by modern day standards, because you actually have to go around and talk to people and figure stuff out. Does awesome stuff. Like, there's so many optional characters in that game that are just cool people, and you can recruit them and talk to them. And the Game Boy Advance added so much story, like so much backstory for a lot of those characters. Like they all had lore. Oh man, Shining Force is so good. Oh, I really want to play that now. I kind of want to get that out.
You have it on the actual Genesis, don't you?
I have it on the Genesis, and I do have it on Game Boy Advance. I think I lost my copy at some point and bought another.
Okay.
Oh, I can tell you so much about that game, dude.
This art, I'm looking at the Shining Force actual art for the here. I want to share this for those of you watching the video podcast. Let me post this up here. So you can kind of see but the Sega.
I have the box with that art downstairs.
You have this art on here. Okay.
Yep. Nice.
Check this out though. This is so for Fire Emblem. I was looking at this page. This is the Shadow Dragon and the Blade of Light. This is the cover for that thing.
Is that a gorilla?
It looks like kind of like maybe like a Doctor Doom situation.
Okay,
maybe
it's a weird wizard.
It's just weird. It is just weird. So, yeah, good stuff.
It's so good. I have Shining Force 2, and I've never beaten it. I've gotten significantly far, but I've never actually beaten it. Having it on a portable helped a lot for Shining Force.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was. It's a good game for a portable. Tactical strategy is great for a handheld portable device. Like if they made like an XCOM for the Vita. That would be cool.
I've beaten that game 7 or 8 times. So like that. Okay, so speaking of crazy things, that is a game that I New Game Plus 7 or 8 times. Like I beat it and then New Game Plus and then played New Game Plus Plus and New Game Plus. Like I was playing it on like 7th level New Game Plus difficulty when I lost that game.
Shining Force?
Yeah.
Nice.
The Game Boy Advance has a New Game Plus and it gets harder every time. And like stuff like little things change every time or whatever. Like I was playing like New Game Plus 7 or whatever.
What are some of your favorite Game Boy Advance games that you kind of going back? Because a lot of people talk about Game Boy Advance being such an amazing platform. At the time, I didn't really have the full appreciation, but I don't think I was just getting the right games for it. But what are some of the ones that you loved about it?
So maybe this is weird, but like some of them are not GBA only games. So Shining Force was a GBA remake. And the remake is definitely different, but it's still kind of a remake of a Genesis game. Super Mario World, which is a remake of... It is a remake, like it does different stuff than of Super Mario World for the Super NES. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga is a Mario and Luigi Japanese RPG that is super fun and written super well. It's like really charming.
Really?
Great game. Oh yeah. It's a good game.
Okay.
What are other Game Boy Advance games? So those are the main ones that I had because I played those ones all the time. People love what Mario Kart? The Mario Kart for Advance people like? Mm-hmm. You had that, right?
I did not. No, I did not have the Mario Kart for the Game Boy for the GBA. The first handheld Mario I had was Mario Kart DS, which was a good one.
Also, what are some other Game Boy Advance games? So I had I've never seen anyone else talk about this game, but there's a game called Fortress that I had that was a Tetris. It was a Tetris game. Like you used Tetris pieces and you built Tetris, but you were building a fortress and you were fighting another player and you had to, like the way that you built your pieces, sometimes they'd have cannons and stuff, and you were building a fortress with Tetris pieces to try to destroy the other person's fortress. And like, it was a little quirky, but I thought it was a rad game. Like, I had a lot of fun playing that. I had a really, really crappy game called Inspector Gadget that I did eventually beat. It was really bad. It was a bad platformer. What else did I have for the Game Boy Advance? I mean, there's a good port of Super Mario 3. Super Mario Bros. 3.
Did they just continue to just port all of their old SNES games to the GBA?
They did. It was a Super Mario Advanced series. It was Super Mario Advance, Super Mario Advance 2, and they were all ports of old games. I know that I'm missing some stuff, but I don't remember what. I played a Guitar Hero game for the Game Boy. No, that was DS.
Yeah, that was
DS.
the DS one. Some of the GBA games that I remember, the first game I ever got for the GBA was F-14 Tomcat. That was a fun little game. For what it did, as far as on the handheld it was on, that game played all right. I had Lego Island 2. I remember that. That one I put a lot of time into that game. I had that game
that is a
down.
bad game.
I had that game down.
I am not taking away from the fun you may have had with that game. That is bad game.
Yeah, no, that game had problems. Like even like controlling it back in the day, I would get frustrated with it. Like, yeah. Lego Racer 2, I had that for the GBA.
So
Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, I had that one.
Return of the King and the Two Towers were both on Game Boy Advance, and those were good.
Yeah, I liked the Return of the King. My Aragorn is like the beastiest Aragorn. It's so cool.
We totally forgot to mention Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire were GBA games.
Mm-hmm. You played those, I did not.
Yeah, and then also like Fire Red was my first Pokemon game. Was a remake of the original, and like I played a lot of hours in that game.
The first Pokemon game I completed was Diamond, but my first Pokemon game was Blue. I actually played a lot of Blue.
I mean, like I played Blue and Yellow, but I didn't own them. I wasn't allowed to, so I don't really count them. But I bought Fire Red and played it so much.
Yeah, I played Blue. I wasn't allowed to own it, and so I was borrowing it from a friend. And then my mom was like, "Hey, what's that?" And it's like Pokemon Blue, and she's like, Pokemon," and then took it away from me. So
I didn't beat it, but Golden Sun was super rad. I played a lot of that.
Okay.
I don't play. There's some good Final Fantasy ports on the GBA.
Yeah, I didn't really play any of those. The first Final Fantasy game I played was 10.
So I've never beaten a Final Fantasy game. That's probably one of my like gaming.
Confessions. Maybe, but
as someone that actually likes JRPGs, I think it's worse than like for some people. Yeah. Like I like JRPGs, I just never have beaten a Final Fantasy. Gotcha. I've never played any of the Fire Emblems except the 3DS one either. Like the original Fire Emblems and Game Boy Advance game. I guess that should be on our list.
Are those any good? Are those considered decent games?
Fire Emblem?
The GBA ones.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely. So also the Game Boy Advance or Advance Wars were considered good. So here's a funny thing. Like I kind of refused to get into Fire Emblem as a kid because of my fanboy self, because it turned into an argument between me and my friends on whether Fire Emblem or Shining Force was better. And like, I just refused to really give a crap about Fire Emblem because no one would care about. I was like, no, Shining Force came first. It did so much of this stuff. It actually like let you walk around in town and interact with people. And there's backstory for all these characters. You get to find out yourself. And Fire Emblem's just for babies and like stupid stuff. Like, yeah, like, so it was like a giant like fandom battle when I was a kid. Now I can like both of them, but not then.
Yeah. Now you can. GBA, that was. I remember looking back or listening to people talk about, the GBA, there were so many good games on it. I'm like, what are you talking? Like those games were not the ones that I played because I did not look upon the GBA with as much fondness as a lot of other people did.
There's good Metroid games. There's good Castlevania games that we didn't play, but people.
I guess I did play Fusion. I played Metroid Fusion. That was one I really liked that game.
Yeah,
I beat that game at least once. I played through it more.
Are all looked upon positively. And then I played there's a really rad Pac-Man collection, which like I don't know how much everybody likes that, but it was actually really good. It was a good collection of Pac-Man games.
My sister had a Game Boy Advance as well, and she had the Namco bundle where it was just like it was Galaga and Pac-Man and like two other games or something like that. Nice. That she had on the Game Boy. That ended up getting lost. I played Ice Age on the GBA. That was one of the games that she had.
I beat an Attack of the Clones game on the GBA.
Oh yeah, so did I. There were 2 Attack of the Clones games I think on the GBA. One of them was I really liked. Let me see if I can find the one that I really liked. I hope it's the same one. Did you like the Attack of the Clones game for the GBA?
I beat it. I didn't own it. I played it at a friend's house and beat it. I don't know. I liked it then, but I don't think it was actually that good when I'm thinking about the things that frustrated me about it.
Okay, I found. Let me. I found it. It's literally called Star Wars 2. Wait, that's not the right one. I'm looking at this cover for it. That does not look like the right one. Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can actually. Oh, here it is. No, that's not it either. That's the Lego one. Where's this stupid awesome? It was literally. I really liked this as a game. It was for the GBA. What the heck?
There's an F-Zero game on the GBA that some people liked, I think.
It wasn't Attack of the Clones. That was a garbage one, but there was a really cool one.
GBA is a rad system, I'll just say that.
Yeah, a lot of people like it. Star Wars 2. I'm gonna find this game because that was actually one of my favorite games growing up on the GBA. What the heck is the name of this game? Oh, there it is. The New Droid Army. Star Wars: The New Droid Army.
Yep, that's it. I see images from it. That's the one I played.
Yep, that's the one I played. I actually like that game.
Wait. The New Droid Army.
There's Star Wars: Attack of the Clones, Star Wars, which I did not like, and then there's Star Wars: The New Droid Army.
Which one is the New Droid Army? Is that the side scroller or no?
It's not the side scroller. That's the top down.
Okay, I did not play the top down one. I played the side scroller. So I played the one that was just called Attack of the Clones, and you played the one called the New Droid Army.
Yes, I also played a little bit of Attack of the Clones, but it was not as good as this one here. Yeah, here, let me pull this.
Is the New Droid Army just a Diablo clone?
Kind of. It's kind of got those.
How similar was it to like Return of the King for GBA?
It didn't have the same RPG stats as others might have, but it was. Yeah, I remember this. It played really well. And you could have you had force abilities, and it was just a hack and slash. It played really well for what it was and the system it was on, and it's like I'm like that was one of my favorite games on the GBA. Was that game? It was really good. It was really good. Yeah, I had the GBA, and then I moved up to the SP. I had the blue SP, and I remember we would go into Gamers, and that's where I bought my SP. And I traded in my SP and got my DS there at the Gamers. And yeah, now we've moved up. We've got the 3DS. Isn't there a new DS or a new handheld system on its way? No, they just released the new last year, 2015. They were the new 3DS. It has new hardware on it and stuff. To make it better. I guess you might think of it as the DSi for the 3DS.
There are actually exclusive games for it.
Oh, are there really? Is there anything awesomely exclusive?
I mean, there's I don't know if you care, but there's one of the Xenoblade, I think is the series. They released one of the main Xenoblade games for it, and you can only get it on the new one.
Okay. I really don't care about the Xenoblade series.
I mean, there's 3DS games that I would like to play that I don't have, like Majora's Mask, which I think even on this even on this very podcast, I said I would buy if it ever came out, and I don't own it.
Majora's Mask what was the first one? The Ocarina of Time. That was the other one that they released. Did you played through the not Link's Awakening? The other 3DS one.
Ocarina of Time.
Link to the Past.
Link Between Worlds.
Link Between Worlds.
It's a sequel to Link to the Past.
I played
through that one. That was really good.
As someone that
oh yeah.
Oh, I might borrow that then.
As somebody that likes Link to the Past, and I did play through Link to the Past as a kid, it was really rad because it's in the same world, and so some of the secrets are the same, and they're playing with nostalgia and stuff in cool ways.
Yeah, that game won Game of the Year 2013, I think, for GameSpot, and
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, that game is just one big nostalgia bomb,
Yeah.
for a lot
It's
of the
pretty
people
good.
who played
But
it.
it's also the puzzles are harder than the Zelda games I've played recently. So I thought that was I was glad that they at least upped the difficulty, and then they also did something a little different, which was they made the game more of an open world. So in normal Zelda games, it's a very strict progression. You can't go to somewhere unless you've gotten the prerequisite items. Like it's almost like Metroid or something. But the difference in the new in Link Between Worlds, like the main innovation, was every single weapon in the game was available to you at the start of the game, and you would just have to like rent it or buy it. And if you bought it, it was always available. If you rented it, it was available until you died. And so you could go to any of the dungeons in any order as long as you grabbed the right weapon and then went to the place. So like you would go to the front of the dungeon, you'd kind of figure out what item you needed to get in, and you could just go rent that weapon. And so it didn't matter what order you tackled the dungeons in. So that was kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I like Zelda games too. Man.
Did you play Twilight Princess?
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Okay.
Evidently, there's a lot of hate for Twilight Princess.
Yeah.
It was fine. Like, I don't think it was a bad game or anything. I enjoyed it. I mean, it was definitely not my favorite Zelda game, but I think maybe it gets a little more hate than it necessarily deserves. But I guess also, if you really, really love Zelda and they make an okay one, maybe that's why people are really down on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know the best Zelda game to come out in recent years? Darksiders 2. Darksiders 2 is a Zelda game with Diablo loot.
You also like Darksiders 1, didn't you?
Darksiders 1 is a hard game, and it's also a Zelda game. It's like a hard... Darksiders 1 is a very good example of Devil May Cry meets Zelda.
Who bought... That was THQ, right? They're the ones that did Darksiders.
They got bought out. We looked up, but I don't remember. They released a Darksiders 2 HD for PS4. So they're still messing with the franchise a little bit. I'd play Darksiders 3. The art in the Darksiders games is so rad. It's like this post-apocalyptic, like really like comic book style. Like they tell the stories through comic books and stuff in the game too. Like it's just, it's so rad looking.
I played through a lot of Darksiders 1. I never actually, that was one of the games that I never beat, but I actually
did you play through a lot of it, or did you just play like a couple hours?
Let's check Steam because it'll tell me. Darksiders 5 hours.
Do you remember what you were doing last?
Nope.
Because I don't remember how long that game is at all. I have no idea. I remember playing it and loving it.
I remember some parts of it, but I don't.
It's a rad game.
Find out who bought it. When did THQ go out? Oh, well, I'm not going to talk about this now.
We can talk about games that are coming out soon.
Yeah, so there's one game I think that both of us are interested in that's coming out next week. The Witness. That is something that's going to happen finally. That game was allegedly supposed to come out last year, and it got pushed, and it is actually going to come out. It looks like it'll actually come out this year, next week actually. So I saw some stuff for today that's saying that game is supposed to be 80 to 100 hours to complete.
And he's been saying that for months now. He hasn't backed off that at all.
But he's been playing that for. But to be fair, he's been building this game for like 5-7 years. So, well, was Braid 2008?
I don't know.
Either
way, 2008, August 6th. So I think this game could be really, really cool. So I'm excited to check it out.
Game. It's a puzzle game.
It's dude that started the indie renaissance almost. Like not fully, but he basically is largely responsible for the indie renaissance with the game Braid. And so like he's one of the dudes that like brought up the conversation, like our game's art. Like he's one of the like lead key founders that caused that conversation to happen because he made Braid. And so like it's definitely gonna be interesting to see if he can do it again with The Witness.
Yeah, I'm a fan of a good puzzle game, a good fun puzzle game. We will see what happens. That game is coming out on PC and PS4 next week, January 26th. So we'll see what happens with that. I
totally didn't realize how screwed my schedule is gonna be. The Witness comes out January 26th. The next week, XCOM 2.
Okay.
That
Are you
same
gonna pick
week,
up XCOM 2 day one?
I probably will. The same week, Firewatch.
What?
2
I don't
weeks.
even know. Like, okay.
What is Firewatch? What
No,
is
it's just like it's like it's just if it's just
Firewatch. I
see
won't pick up Firewatch day one, but more
we'll see what
specifically, in 2 weeks after XCOM, both the Fire Emblems come out.
Okay.
Then you have a couple weeks.
Wait. When? You said February
19th.
I didn't realize we were that close to Fire Emblems.
Yes.
That's kind of cool. Okay.
And then
continue.
2 weeks later, The Division, which I don't know if I'll buy day one, but I'm super interested in seeing what the heck that is.
So people are saying it's like Destiny. It's another Destiny, so we'll see if we want more of that.
Then I get a break for 1 month. April 5th, Quantum Break. The sequel to Alan Wake. That everyone... This is how they snuck it in through Microsoft. Like, you won't let us make an Alan Wake game. We'll make a new game. Wink. No, they actually said that that's not the case, but they have said multiple times. What?
Is that game coming to PC?
I don't know if it is right away. It probably will.
Eventually, probably, but maybe I don't think right away.
2 weeks after that,
Xbox One. Okay.
Dark Souls 3.
Nice.
2 weeks after that, Star Fox Zero.
Yeah, you're never. Yeah, this is a bad. You're never gonna be. You're never gonna be able to beat.
No. The week after that, Total War Warhammer, which should have been called Total Warhammer.
Is that coming out that soon? I didn't.
April 28th. Yeah, dude, this is gonna be a killer year for games. Okay. I wasn't freaking out when on the extravaganza. Like I was not lying when I said that this looks like an awesome year.
Total War Warhammer seems like that could be a cool thing.
That could be so stinking rad. And then Mirror's Edge Catalyst comes out a month after that.
Have you played a Total War game?
No.
Okay.
But if I were going to play one, it would be Warhammer.
Do you know? So do you kind of understand though what those games are? Like it's not just your normal RTS.
Yes. That's why I haven't played them, because I don't care about history in that way, but I care about orcish history in that way. Mirror's Edge Catalyst comes out May 24th. And like that's another one I probably won't pick up day one, but looks totally rad, or potentially rad. August 23rd, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, the sequel to Deus Ex Human Revolution, which is a rad game that I don't think enough people played. Super good.
I started that. Right? I played some of it. I've got a lot of games that I need to go back and actually beat. Like I have a fair amount of those. Here
are games scheduled for 2016 they don't have dates.
Okay.
Banner Saga 2. I'm super looking forward to that. Crackdown 3. Whatever. I don't know. We'll see. It could be good, could be not. It's hit or miss. Dishonored 2. That probably interests you because you like Dishonored 1.
I did like Dishonored 1.
I'm curious to see what it is. Don't Starve Together. I put that on there because it's potentially interesting. It's Don't Starve, but co-op.
Did you like Don't Starve? I really didn't.
Sometimes I do, but if it were co-op, I think I would like it more. Like, that's the thing.
Okay.
Doom, which could be awesome. Final Fantasy 15, which, what the heck? I don't know. That could be awesome or it could be terrible. The Final Fantasies have gone both ways. Halo Wars 2.
Yeah.
Then there's like, okay, for some reason it's still scheduled in 2016 that Mass Effect Andromeda is coming out. I don't really buy that at all. Like that's all bull.
Nope.
No Man's Sky is supposed to come out this year.
That's a 2017 game. No Man's Sky. That is a game that it should not be that much of a surprise that I'm looking forward to No Man's Sky. That is a game I'd like to play.
Yeah, same here. Overwatch, the Blizzard shooter. I want to play that. It looks cool.
Yeah, we tried to get into the beta and couldn't. We never got an invite to that.
We're evidently not cool enough for the cool club.
No.
Persona 5, which I am just so curious about. I want to know what Persona 5 is so bad. Also, if I start Persona 5, I will be playing it for the rest of my living years because that game is going to be so long.
Between that and The Witness, you'll have plenty.
Yooka-Laylee, the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie.
Is that actually supposed to come out this year?
That's supposed to. I don't know if it will.
I don't know if it will either, but that would be cool.
And then, of course, Zero Escape 3, the sequel to Virtue's Last Reward.
Oh,
the sequel to 999, which I'm so excited for.
For conversations about virtual novels like that stuff, we just need to get Blake on so that you two can just fanboy out about
Blake
it.
and I are both so excited for this game, though. Virtue's Last Reward is the craziest ending I've ever seen in a video game. I don't think I could back off that. It's so freaking nuts.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm so pumped for this year in games. It's funny, I haven't played a single one this year.
Yeah, well, none of the big ones have come out yet. What games have come out this year? Is anything
some
come
cool,
out this year?
cool like indie stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Which, as we talked about in our our extravaganza, those are some of the coolest games. Is those indie games, those little ones that sneak up on you. Like for me, it was Rebel Galaxy. The year before, it was Valiant Heart. Like which I guess Valiant Heart is kind of not indie, but it's those smaller games that can come up and get you that are really cool.
Yeah. Well, like the games that we listed, like a lot of them are definitely mid tier or low tier. Like Witness is a mid tier game. XCOM is a mid tier game. Fire Emblem is a big game. The Division is a huge game. Quantum Break's pretty big. I don't know what to call Dark Souls. Like technically it's a big game, but it doesn't feel like a AAA game. Mostly because it's very different from your average AAA game. Total War Warhammer.
Yeah.
Like that's also a AAA game that doesn't always feel like a AAA game because it's more complicated. Deus Ex Mankind Divided. That's a mid-tier game.
You call Square Enix a mid-tier developer?
I would now. I don't know. Because like Deus Ex feels like a mid-tier game, but like Tomb Raider feels like a AAA game. And it's the same deal. So like it's hard for the
not the same studio. Studio.
It's not the same studio, but it's the same like publisher. Like I feel like it's more of a feel thing. Like Deus Ex has so much stuff in it that it feels janky, so it kind of feels like a mid-tier game, even though it probably has a ridiculous budget. Whereas like Tomb Raider is generally polished the crap out of because it's your flagship franchise. So like Total War. Like Total War is a huge game, I'm sure, budget wise, but like it feels more mid-tier.
Lara Croft is coming to the PC this month.
Yeah, that's another game that I want to play eventually. I will get during some Steam sale in the future.
Yep. I would not mind going through and playing that. That game sounded cool. Listening to Giant Bomb talk about it. The game sounded like some cool stuff in there. So
the Banner Saga. That was a good game. The game made me sad in my heart. In a good way.
Man, there are so many games to play. There are so many games to play. Not
Dare
just
I call
new
it
stuff coming out.
An embarrassment of riches. You should edit that out. I apologize. You should edit that out.
That joke should. I mean, it's only funny to you.
There are a lot of people. There are a lot of people in 2015 that so many good games came out. They used the term embarrassment of riches. Like for some reason, we should be ashamed because the world gave us a lot of things that we're grateful for. As if we should be embarrassed. As if in a capitalist society, because people want to be in a socialist society, we should be ashamed that so many awesome things exist, because in a socialist society we should be doing, like, it's embarrassment how many good things we have. It should be shared to everybody else. I don't want to talk about it.
All right, we won't talk about that.
You should edit that whole section out. I apologize. I might as well have swore.
If you want to listen to Michael rant on socialism, tune in next week. Yeah.
Don't do that. Yeah,
don't tune in next
video games. I've been doing some stupid thing. I have a personal challenge. Have we talked about that?
let's talk about it. Let's address it right here, right now. You have the platform.
At some stupid point in my stupid life this year, I decided that I wanted to try to listen to every album in 2016, like some kind of dumb idiot.
I'm gonna listen to every album that ever comes out this coming year.
Everyone's like, what ones? I'm like, everyone I know about. I'm gonna listen to it like some kind of just complete moron. So I'm just listening to album. I'm just chain listening to albums.
You're the only one who's holding yourself to this. You can quit at any time.
After listening to the Hank Williams Jr. album, I would be doing myself a disservice if I did not continue. I listened to that whole album. It is the worst album I've listened to in recent times.
My favorite part is just, we need a Michael cam for when country albums come up, and then we're just going to watch you work and just watch you grimace through these albums.
It's just so bad. That album in general. So like, I think I've been better in general. So like there's some country-ish stuff that I've already heard this year, and like I'm okay with it. Like it's not my favorite, but it's tolerable. This particular album is atrocious. It is horrible. And so today we got in a conversation with somebody that is okay with country music. And I said, as someone that likes country music, what does bad country music sound like to you? He has no answer, because people that listen to country music don't know what music sounds like. They have no clue what good and bad country music sounds like. When I talk to my dad and say, what does bad country music sound like? He just names every modern country song, because he only likes stuff that sounds like old stuff. So like, I don't know if that even counts. I don't want to talk about country music anymore. Anyway, I'm doing this stupid challenge. I just thought it was worth mentioning. That way it's on the book somewhere, because I'm going to go down in history of died having to listen to so many stupid albums. 30 albums came out this week.
That's a lot of albums. Yeah. Well, it's not all bad though. You found some cool stuff in your 2016 looking through. What are some of the cool stuff that you found?
So we're not even done with January, and I already have 16 songs on my 2016 favorite playlist, and they're all pretty rad. I discovered an artist named Conrad Sewell, I think is how you pronounce it.
Sewell, something like that.
He's super rad. It's like pop music, but it's really, really good. I found a dude named Stevie McRory. He's an Irish dude who won The Voice. I found an Irish dude named Stevie McRory who won the UK Voice last year.
Okay.
His album's pretty good. Pop album, pop rock. Panther Disco had a good album. Like, there's a sweet EDM album by a dude named Marshmello. And the most interesting thing about Marshmello is that no one in real life actually knows who this dude is. He actually has a secret identity, so he's like my superhero because he's an EDM artist who's hidden. There's a rad cover of a song called Wichita Lineman by Villagers. You should check out my 2016 fave playlist on my Spotify. My name is Michael Nipp, MICHAELKNIPP. I have a 2016 faves list. I'm updating it constantly because evidently there's a lot of albums to listen to. Who would have known when they made this stupid freaking challenge?
There's a lot of music in the world, Michael, and you're going to consume a very small portion of it.
In 2016, I'm going to consume a large portion of it, for better or worse.
So, yeah, I have not held myself to this challenge, and I continue to enjoy cool music I find here and there. I stand by the fact that, at least from my account, the Spotify Discover playlist is a rad thing. That was really great of them to add. And if you're not a person like Michael who just listens to anything he comes across, then your Discovery playlist could actually be something that's kind of cool.
I was going to say mine is garbage now, but it's my own fault. It used to be good.
So you can just follow mine and just listen to mine. So, yeah. So if the podcast, there's a podcast on the website that talks specifically about music. It's called I Can't Know Music, I'll Know Music. Michael hosts that with Blake, another one of the other hosts on the site. When can we expect? You guys are kind of on a hiatus now? Do we have a temporary date? When can we kind of get a feel for when the show's going to come back?
Blake is a genius who works on making robots that will terrorize mankind, and I have no idea what his schedule's like. It's going to be after that. I don't know. I'm throwing around the idea of some other type of music podcast that's different focus. It's going to be a different style. We'll see if that comes anywhere to fruition. But yeah, that'll be potentially. Hillary Duff released a single this year called "Little Lies."
Does anyone care about what Hillary Duff is doing anymore?
I think everyone that cared just said yes right now, and that was no one.
Okay.
I just know because that was the last song I played on my Spotify.
Oh, okay. All right. I have no. So, yeah, go ahead.
What's our time?
Well, we can end whenever. Do you have anything else that you'd like to discuss?
Do we want to talk about the thing we discussed briefly?
That is your call. It's up to you how much you want to talk about that or not. I will leave that solely up to you.
So
do you want to...
the website that we're doing is called The Culture of My People, and I think we've had a pretty good run here, but this takes up a lot of our time. So I'm thinking that we should go into retirement. And I know that we said we're about to start up a new show, and your show is about to start up again, but in all actuality, I think we're going to fold as a website.
There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes that you guys just aren't aware of. And, with Michael, having a job, with me, being single and being a bachelor, that takes up a lot of my time. It just takes up, it just takes up a lot from us. It sucks the soul, our life force out of us. And I mean, Michael decided to break the news now.
Well, I think one of the reasons that this site is so bad is because we have the worst name for a website that I've ever heard of in my entire life. thecultureofmypeople.com does not flow. It is long. It looks stupid when you're going to a website and it says the top left, the culture of my people. It doesn't mean anything.
I mean, that ultimately that comes down to the reason why we have to shut down the site. But I don't have a solution to the problem, which I think that unless you've got a solution, I my hands are tied.
So I have a potential solution.
Okay. All right, folks, hold on. The site may not be over.
We may continue as planned. We are going to be working on rebranding the site. I don't want to reveal the rebranding yet because I have to figure out a bunch of behind the scenes crap because whatever. But we're going to be rebranding the site. It's not going to necessarily change the way that we do podcasts, though I would like to maybe get another show. I would like to get more video content on the site. Like, these are things that we've talked about. Like, I'm not changing that. In all actuality, we're not planning on killing the site or anything, but I would like to rebrand the site, like update some logos, maybe a potential name change, because this is the worst named website. So like I'm going to be 100% honest with you and with the people that were listening. I knew it was a terrible name when I named it. It was not, and I did not ever in my life assume this was a good name. I thought it was a better dumb name than it really is, but it doesn't flow. It's terrible, and nobody knows. It's a terrible name. Like, if you're going to do something stupid, it has to be something better than the culture of my people. So I don't know. We'll be working on rebranding the site in the next couple weeks. Don't really expect us to go anywhere. I apologize to you that we're excited briefly for a second when we mentioned that, but we're still going to be here. Yeah. So if things start looking different, if we start appearing happier, if we start selling merch, which I don't know if we will do because it's hard to sell merch. Well, I don't know. Your video podcast has enough listeners that, we might be able to sell a t-shirt, a single solo individual t-shirt to a person.
Yeah, this very well could happen. If you're interested in any of this, if you want a t-shirt, you have to let us know, podcast at thecultureofmypeople.com, podcast at comingsoon.com. Yeah, we will stay tuned to the website. Michael's realizing some of the stuff that he's having to change. Oh, technology is so good. Oh, this look.
All right, whatever. That's all I had to say. I'm done.
All of that. Oh man, if I could go back and get a screenshot of that may have to be the template for this. That may have to be the picture for the site for the episode today. All right. Let's say we wrap it up. You know, we've talked about games, we've talked about music, we've talked about coming soon. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Michael, how can people find you?
You can find me at facebook.com/therealmichaelnipp or twitter.com/michaelnipp. I spelled my name earlier, but once again, it's MICHAELKNIPP.
If you want to find me, I'm on Twitter at Drewby132, facebook.com/Drewby132. If you want to email the show, it's podcast@theculturepeople.com. If you want to follow the show on Twitter, it's at @theculturepeep. Follow the sites more specifically. Yeah, write in, let us know what do you think of the show? What do you want us to do differently? Do you actually want us to go off of the air? Write in and let us know. And yeah, share your thoughts with us. Michael, any final words for the faithful listeners?
I love you, each and every one of you, from the bottom of my heart.
So for this episode 59 of ## Follow the Conversation, this has been me, your host, Droopy, with my co-host,
Michael.